Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Dr. Velasquez, Health Officer for Spokane County. And today I'm joined by two of our partners from the fire department. First, I would like to introduce on my far right from Spokane Fire Department, Fire Marshal Rich Galtieri. And then to my immediate right, Jamie McIntyre, Risk Reduction Manager, whom you've seen with me many times. We can't remember how many times, but it's been several. So thank you for joining us today.
Pleasure.
We're always happy to have our partners from the fire department here. And before I start, I just want to say thank you to all of our firefighters because they do a very tough job. And unfortunately, in the last couple of weeks, we've had to face a few challenges, but thank you for all your efforts, which really turned those challenges into a lesser issue than it could have been without your help. So we all know that we're looking at the 4th of July weekend, which it's coming soon. Today's Wednesday, so it'll be...
Today's the first.
Yeah,
Couple
okay,
days.
today's the first. Can't believe it's July. And as a general rule, we always try to emphasize safety because everybody wants to party, we all want to celebrate, and there are ways of celebrating safely, and there are ways of celebrating that are not so safe. So the first thing I want to do is, what type of calls do you typically get 4th of July weekend? I'm going to go to Jamie first.
Thank you, Dr. Velasquez. So we, as a Spokane Fire Department, we serve the roughly 240,000 residents that live and recreate in the city of Spokane. We have 16 fire stations that are serving that entire area. On a typical day, we respond to 140 to 150 incidents. When there are holidays or natural weather disasters, then that call increases. So typically this time of year, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more later, but it tends to be drier. So around the 4th of July, we do have increased calls for fires in grassy areas that have been started by fireworks that are used inappropriately. And we also do still have people that get injured from fireworks in our region that we're responding to. So our ordinance has been in place for quite some time. The Spokane community for 34 years has had an ordinance on fireworks. It's pretty much if you light it, it's illegal. Prior to that ordinance going in place, the fire department had calls that were stacked, and we had to triage them because we didn't have enough resources to respond to the calls that were coming in for emergency services. So that has gotten so much better because our community is joining with us in making safe choices and using fireworks appropriately.
Well, thank you. And I appreciate you giving us a little bit of the background. I'm going to ask our fire marshal if he has anything else to add to that comment.
Yeah, Jamie nailed it. And in fact, not only the stacked calls can provide or present an issue, but then it kind of diminishes our ability to provide the actual service that we typically do on a regular basis for our citizens. And so, and if you've spent more than 5 minutes in Spokane, you'll realize that this is a wildland urban interface area. And so we've already, as you mentioned before, we've already had some slightly significant issues happening at the very beginning. And so we're trying to minimize those. Where, in fact, if we could actually make sure that those don't happen, that would be phenomenal. But the realistic goal is to try to minimize things to something that is more manageable throughout the season, right? And so, and I know, the fire marshal's office can sometimes be seen as the party poopers, right? In the sense that we are code enforcers, but the reality is that we're trying to enforce the law primarily for the safety of our citizens, and we don't want anybody to lose their homes. We don't want anybody to be dislocated or separated from their families, and we're trying to prevent those calamitous events. And so, if we can keep that in mind as we proceed on through the festivities, I mean, we are steeped in tradition. Boy, does the fire department have a lot of phenomenal traditions, and part of those traditions are also to maintain safety across our citizenry. So hopefully people will keep that in mind as we go through this season and celebrate appropriately. I love that it's the 250th birthday of America, and being a guy born in New York, I totally feel a lot of pride and all of that, and my history here in being an American citizen. So I will be celebrating in my own way. And one of the things I do love about Spokane is that we have a phenomenal fireworks show or display that is paid for by the city in downtown, and it's spectacular. I take my family there on a regular basis, and they do not disappoint. So hopefully people take advantage of that.
Wonderful. So a couple of things that we've mentioned that I want to highlight. First of all, the fire department responds to a lot of things, not just fires. And a lot of the things that they respond to can be somewhat diluted if the resources are scattered because we're
Absolutely.
working on preventable fires, which I think is the message that I'm hearing woven through all of that. There are ways of celebrating. As you pointed out, we do have an official, well-controlled fireworks show by the city, which we appreciate. So there's no need for us to go out, lighting stuff up because that's not a good thing. But we mentioned fireworks a couple of times. What are common misconceptions that people may have about fireworks? And I'll ask Jamie about that.
Sure, and I this question I think is personal to me because I've lived in Spokane my entire life, over 40 years, and one of the things that I really appreciate is the majority of our community members who come together with the fire department and support us in taking in those professional displays
Right.
by licensed pyrotechnicians. What's hard for me and what continues to be a struggle is the people that do not understand the why behind what our fire marshal was speaking to. So the fireworks ordinance is in place because of significant wildfire risk that we have in our region, because as you spoke to, the limited resources that we have. And so what's hard for me is there can be a perception that I've done it before and it's okay, or fireworks are okay if I use them in small quantities. A lot of research and a lot of science goes into the policies that are put in place and that are supported by our prevention division. And so what's hard for me is the misconception for a small subsection of our community not understanding that this comes from a place of really a community as a whole and the safety of us all by making those smart choices. Also, sparklers are a thing that I think we've talked about for quite some time. Pretty much if you light it, it's illegal. Reason for that being too is sparklers are a big cause of injury for younger
Right.
children outside of the Spokane area because we don't use them a lot here. But just really to be aware that every firework has some innate danger in it, not only injury to the individual, but also the fire risk. And that's why we just appreciate our community joining with us.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you mentioning that. A couple of things I think are important to highlight. All of this is about safety. This is not about, well, you can't do that. That's not the point. The point is we really don't want you to do that because it's dangerous to you. We live in a beautiful area with lots of trees, lots of brush, lots of grass. Namely, things that can light up fairly quickly if we're not controlling ourselves. So how quickly will one of these fireworks go from, pretty to oops, not a good thing?
Yeah, that's a great question. So one of the things that I'd like to highlight is that we have a wildland planner. He's phenomenal. His name is Nick, and he's been doing a lot of great work around not just our city, but the county itself. And we've been doing a lot of wildland mitigation to make sure that if an unfortunate event like that happens, that it's somewhat manageable. But there's still a lot of work to be done. And so we all know the weather's not going to get wetter and cooler. It's going to start getting drier. A lot, some wind-driven events could happen. If one little spark can cause a lot of havoc. And so it's really easy for a small spark of a firework that malfunctions or that's been discarded improperly, just start a little bit of grass fire. That grass fire is going to potentially spread, cause a bush to be on fire, and then so on and so on. And it basically just escalates. And by the time we get there and respond, it's already pretty significant. And so it really, as you mentioned before, that our resources get so overburdened that's problematic. And so honestly, to answer your question in short, it doesn't take much at all. And so just one little spark, a little puff of wind, and we're off to the races.
Moves.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and actually, I think we've been flashing some slides behind that tell you the temperature, because people don't think about how hot that really is, which is not only dangerous for the environment around us, but that's where injuries come from
true.
too. So we have to be careful. Sorry. you
And
wanna say-
I mean, can you
add
talk
something?
a little bit about the burn restriction that went in?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
thank you very much. Yeah, so we recently put a burn restriction into effect, and it's countywide. So it started June 30th at midnight, and that basically, it's not a burn ban. There's a difference between a burn ban and
Okay.
a burn restriction. And if you visit our website or any of the other county services websites, you'll see what the restriction's all about. And specifically, we're trying to moderate what types of fires are allowable and which are not. That way, the allowable ones are the ones that have either very low risk or no risk at all, and the ones that are not are the ones that we are really concerned with. So, if you want that resource, that information, that resource is available on our websites.
Okay.
It's been active since June 30th, and that's going to be in effect until basically the community is back to as an environment where we can start doing that again. So.
Okay, so if anybody has any questions, go to the website, check it out.
Absolutely.
Check it out before you do anything, not after.
That's
I
preferred.
love talking, if I can add on to
Oh,
that a little
absolutely.
bit. So, one of the things too with our burn restriction, it happens around this time every
that's true.
single year. So this is not something that's
Right.
new. We've done it this time of year. The other piece that happens a little bit behind the scenes is there's a lot of science and a lot of intentionality that goes into when they decide to put a burn
Okay.
restriction in effect. So they work coordinated on the county level to make sure that our whole entire county is getting the same information, and they look at the forecast for the foreseeable future. They look at the grassy materials that are on our natural areas and how they are doing with how much they're drying out, because those are some of those key things
Right.
that really cause those wind-driven events to happen. And so they also look at where we're at with humidity and how our snowpack was as well. So there are a lot of factors and a lot of intentionality that goes into when this burn restriction goes into effect. And kind of the easiest thing, I've had the pleasure of talking about this for 10 years, the easiest thing is pretty much we're worried about sparks. So
Right,
open
okay.
campfires, if you have a fire pit with an attached spark arrestor, from the manufacturer, those are appropriate. But as Rich had said, there's some great information on our website. If people want to learn any more, they can also contact us at the fire department if they have any questions. But I just really want to stress that we do this every year, and it's great that our community joins alongside with us as this goes into place.
Absolutely. Home rep.
So a lot of things. One of the things that happens in this weekend is like the official beginning of like grilling season. Everybody has
Absolutely.
right. So maybe we can. What should people be aware if they're gonna smoke or grill?
Sure. So grilling for us, as the fire service, one of the biggest things that we see is it's been kind of wet this spring, right? We did have we didn't have snowpack, but we've had kind of a
of
wetter
rain, yep.
season. So if people are like me, that grill was pushed up against your house to protect it from getting all the wet elements. So one of the biggest things that we see are with grills are people haven't properly cleaned them, so they can have fires that start from not being properly cleaned, or they're grilling too close to their house.
Right.
And they can have that then spread to their house. And so every year we have a handful of fires that we respond to where somebody's caught their deck on fire, and at times it does expand to their primary residence because of the placement of that grill. If people are using charcoal, we want to make sure that is completely cooled before it's disposed of, because we can have dumpster fires start or other areas. So just being aware of that.
Yeah, that's perfect, Jamie. Also, on smokers, interestingly, smokers, I love smoking all kinds of, specifically brisket's my favorite.
Okay.
But smokers provide an issue where if the smoke is generated and it's kept if you don't clean your stack in a smoker or clean that the grease on a regular basis, that grease could light up. The smoke won't be able to effectively go outside of the smoker, and if you open that smoker, it could have a flare-up, which can then light the smoke on fire. Believe it or not,
Right.
the smoke is unburnt fuel, and then that can cause issues as well. So especially, it'll get to your eyes, your face very easily. So be aware of that. I don't know that a lot of folks know that, but smokers have that inherent danger if you don't maintain it properly. If you maintain it properly, they're a beautiful instrument. So.
Well, I'm glad that we talked about that, because I know we were talking initially about fireworks and things along those lines, but I also know that everybody's getting their grill ready to go, or their smoker ready to
Absolutely.
go, because last weekend the weather was kind of not that great. but we're going to have a great weekend. So I know we were not thinking about that when we started having this conversation, but I thought it was important, and I appreciate you mentioning that fact about the smoke, because that's something that we don't think about. It's like, oh, just like, smells good, that's nice smoke, but that could be dangerous too.
Yes.
So adding to that thought process, what are practices, habits that we can all invest time into to make sure that we're all safe from fires and reducing the risk of fires as a community? What should we be all doing?
Thank you. That's a really great question. The big thing that the fire department, how you can support us this holiday season, is leaving it to the professionals. Downtown at Riverfront Park, they have festivities going from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. I believe there's also the symphony's going to have a free production there. There's carnivals, foods. Fireworks start at 10 p.m., I believe. But that's a safe space to take in those fireworks. There are also some smaller displays happening in our region if going downtown doesn't feel like the right fit.
Right.
So finding a safe way to connect with the people that you care about and doing it safely so that our firefighters can have a safe and happy holiday as well.
That's spot on. Leave it to the professionals 100% of the time on that specifically. And I always want to reiterate, if you're cooking, maintain your equipment. If you're using any electrical sources, make sure you remove anything that's not UL listed, that's bought somewhere else, that they have different technologies or different grading criteria for the safety of that device. Make sure that you remove those. If you're going to use things that require a lot of electricity, make sure that you have and it's remote from the plug and you're using an extension cord, make sure that you're using the appropriate extension cord. Whether the filament inside the cord themselves, you can get them where they're a little bit thicker filament and can handle a little bit more amperage, and don't use extension cords for devices like that require a lot of energy, like air conditioners and things like that. So if we can do that, I think we'll be having a great summer this summer, and it should be fantastic. So.
Okay, so a couple of things. Leave the fireworks to professionals. That's
Absolutely.
what they do, and it's a lot less work if you let them do it anyway.
Cheaper too, right?
Cheaper
Yeah.
too. And I do know we have a great fireworks show, and the symphony is going to have a concert. But we'll plug here for the symphonies. I've been part of it for many, many years. Second, equipment that we're going to use, make sure we're maintaining that. Make sure we clean it, and it's pretty easy to do. It's not that complicated. I do it every year. It takes me half a day, but when I pull it out, but I make sure that everything is clean. And I'm glad you mentioned electrical fires. Because everybody's going to want to be outside. Don't thread your extension cord all the way there and plug 27 things into it. Make sure that you have the appropriate receptacles for the appropriate equipment so we can prevent an electrical fire that could be significantly dangerous. So I'm going to say thank you to both of you. I do hope that our fire department doesn't have a lot of calls related to oopsies that happen because somebody did something. It's preventable.
Sure.
Right?
Did we speak to if somebody sees a fireworks cause
Oh,
fire?
no,
what to
but
do?
we didn't, but we should
No,
tell
I
them.
was
So
thinking,
what if you
okay.
see something like
Great
that?
mind.
Yeah.
Actually, you're going to be better at that.
Perfect.
than I
Okay,
am.
so Shrek manages the 911 phone calls,
Okay.
and so if somebody has nuisance within their community or they're hearing fireworks, they can call Crime Check. Shrek also has on their website,
Okay.
as well as they have a mobile app that can be reported.
Got it.
If there is a fire caused by fireworks, somebody is injured from fireworks, or fireworks are being let off in a grassy area where there's a risk of that wildfire that we
Yeah.
spoke to, we're asking people to call 911, and those resources will be sent out appropriately. So just using the resources the right way. We always get a lot of calls on the 4th of July, and people calling in the right avenue helps us to make sure that the right resources can get there as quickly as possible.
Got it. I'm glad you brought that up. But my usual question is, anything else you want to share?
You know
So
me.
I think you got it way ahead of me, which is good. But I'm going to go back to saying thank you for everything you do. Let's make sure that our community is safe. Let's make sure that our firefighters are safe and are able to respond to the things that they're trained for, not things that we're causing. And thank you again. I want to say happy birthday, America. It's 150. It's going to be quite a celebration. I've never been to 150, but I
Me
know,
either.
Me neither. I probably will never make it there, but I know that we're all proud of our 250th birthday, as we should be. And with that, I want to say thank you, everybody, for joining us. Stay safe, stay well. Celebrate the 4th of July and the 250th friends and family, but do it in a safe way. Because we want to make sure that next Wednesday, you can come back and join us and say, yeah, I did it, but I did it safely and everything is good. Stay safe, stay well. We'll see you again next Wednesday. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for coming.